thank you very much, and warm welcome to you all. I'm really happy that I can be here. So it was a great honor for me to respond to the invitation of my colleagues from the Parliament of Taiwan to come here. And it was a really good visit with very important and I think very friendly, also friendshiply discussions with the members of government and President Tai. I think it was really the right moment to come. With this visit, Europe counters the attempt of China to isolate Taiwan internationally. And this is important, and Europe cares. Europe cares because Taiwan is a lively and stable democracy. I could really see how over all the frontiers of the different parties, of the different people in society, the fact to be a democracy, to having built up from bottom, a democracy with rule of law, citizens' rights, freedom of speech and free election is a project of heart for every Taiwanese. And Europe will stand by this side. As a family, as I already mentioned, as a family of democracies. But it's also clear that the rise of tensions in the region, in the China Sea and also in the Taiwan Strait, has also an impact on Europe. And so we have to act, and we are in consent to use peaceful measures, so we want to resolve problems in peace. But it's also clear that the Taiwanese people have to decide on their own, on their future, and that there cannot be a unilateral change of the status quo. And so to come here these 3 days is a sign also for you that Europe cares and that we want to protect the status quo, which cannot be changed against the will of the Taiwanese people.
Wonderful, thank you. We need definitely translation to Mandarin of these important remarks so we can all understand. 嘉豪。
非常高兴能够来到这边，我也很荣幸的能够应台湾立法院的邀请来到台湾访问。这次访问成果非常的良好，我们有很多很重要但也非常友善的讨论。那讨论对象不乏诸多的政府的官员，还有蔡英文总统，还有其他重要的政界人士。现在这个时间点来到台湾真的非常刚好，因为在这个时间点当中呢，中国也在持续的加强在国际空间对台湾的孤立，但是同时欧洲也非常关心台湾，因为台湾是一个非常稳定而且非常繁荣的民主，在台湾呢有非常多元的政党、多元的人民、法治的社会，还有人权、自由等，还有自由的公平的选举。这就是为什么欧洲支持的台湾的社会，毕竟欧洲跟台湾都是民主的一家人。那同样重要的是，我们欧洲也非常关注这个地区正在高涨的紧张态势，还有台海的态势，这些都影响着欧洲。因此呢，我们必须采取行动，因为我们希望能够用和平的方式来解决问题。但是这个问题要解决，一定要是由台湾人来决定自己的未来，不可以片面的去改变台海的现状。因此，过去这3天我们的访问的行程呢，就是一个讯号，代表着欧洲关心台湾，欧洲也反对，违背台湾人用违背台湾意志的一个方式呢，去改变台海现状。
Thank you very much. With the permission of Madam Vice President and also our Minister, we proceed with taking the whole questions because there are so many. We divided the questions into different groups. Let's do the first group of Taiwan-EU relations, German relations, and Taiwan, and prospects of Taiwan-EU relations. Let me read the questions for you. We received Taiwan News, Kevin Chen. Kevin, what are some of the undertakes or observations for Can you share with us some of your recommendations? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I tried to take them all together, and that it put me in this way the question from German television. That this shows that this visit, that I'm here in my official capacity as one of the vice presidents of European Parliament, was in the right moment. European Parliament just here extended an invitation to our colleagues from the Taiwanese Parliament, and so there will be an on-continuing of visits and of consultation, and I think this is for the right moment. We want, as European Parliament, push further, so it's clear that we also call for the Commission to go further in the consultation they are undertaking. We hope this will lead to a bilateral investment agreement, which then also makes possible to upgrade our office here. And I think this is an important question to strengthen our relationship. To have a win-win situation on both sides, to go deeper in our cooperation in science, innovation, development, but also in trade, in fighting against climate change, so the green transition, but also exchange in the digital transition, especially when it comes to citizens' rights as privacy and data protection, is, I think, an important point, which we should strengthen to make it as a global standard, so that our standards, which are value-based, can be put through informal leadership on the globe.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice President. We need translation for her remarks.
我现在人在台湾，我们这样子的官方访问，以副议长的官方身份来到台湾哦，这是一个非常重要的一个时间点。那当然，我们也是受立法院的邀请代表欧洲议会访问台湾哦。那像这样子的访问会当做一个基础，未来会有持续的更多的访问以及更多的咨询。当然，我们现在有非常多的工作正在进行当中，希望说这些工作最终能够促成台欧之间洽签双边投资协定，并且能够让我们欧盟的驻台代表处呢能够予以升级。希望说透过这些作为，能够有进一步让我们深化台欧关系，创造台欧关系的双赢，那使得说台湾跟欧洲之间能够更多的合作，像是创新啦。科研，还有，当然我们也希望说能够有更多的贸易，还有一起来打击、来对抗气候变迁等等。所以呢，当然我们也有数位转型很重要的工作，因为现在在新的时代当中呢，我们都讲究公民的权利，同时也必须要保护公民的隐私权，还有保护大家的资料等等。因此呢，我们希望说在资料保护方面呢，能够透过我们的合作，打造一个新的全球标准。
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, next category is very interesting. It's about threats from China, EU policy on Taiwan, and war in Ukraine. Okay, so I received questions from CNA Novia 中央社雅士提问，请问副议长，您抵台的时候提到，欧盟绝对不会坐视中国侵略民主台湾。中国如果对台湾发动军事攻击的话，您认为欧盟应该采取何种行动 ？For Madam Vice President, when you arrived in Taiwan, you stated that there were no room for Chinese aggression in democratic Taiwan. So if China were to launch a military offensive against Taiwan, in your opinion, what actions should the European Union take? Also from Novia, 欧盟新任的驻中国的大使 Jorge Toledo， 他在接受西班牙媒体的时候访问说，欧盟不捍卫台湾的独立，而是支持和平统一，这样的言论引起了争议。请问您对此的评论 ？From CNA Novia, she asked the new EU ambassador to China, Jorge Toledo Albiniana. He made controversial statements such as the EU does not advocate independence for Taiwan, but peaceful reunification with China. In his interview with a Spanish newspaper, I wonder what would be Madam Vice President's view on his remarks. Also for Taiwan News, Kevin asking, what are some of the valuable lessons from the war in Ukraine you think are applicable to Taiwan's situation with China? Also, Kevin's second question, would you say the European Parliament is now more aware and concerned about China's bullying of Taiwan? What are some of the things the Parliament can do to deter China and help Taiwan? Also from Epoch Time 大纪元心仪提问，心仪在问欧洲议会副议长访台，引发了中国外交部的批评施压，对此请教副议长有何看法 ？For Madam Vice President, in your visit to Taiwan has triggered some criticism and pressure from the Chinese Foreign Ministry. I wonder what would be your take on their response and their anger. From New Tang Dynasty 东旭提问，请教副议长跟还有部长，欧盟正在建构自己的印太战略，北约也通过了新版的战略概念，正是中共的系统性挑战。美国跟欧盟跟欧洲在能源、通货膨胀、内政等压力之下，持续支持乌克兰抵达侵略。不过有分析意见担心，中共会借这个机会来分化美国跟欧盟之间，还有分化欧盟各国之间的团结。那另外，西方外交圈最近也出现一些亲中国、中共合作的声音。第一个问题，请教副议长，认为欧盟如何在这一段期间的压力期间，能够还维持欧盟国家之间的一个团结跟政策的路线？另外问题是请教我们吴部长，中共的分化想要影响这个美国跟欧洲的一个对台政策，请问部长认为台湾要如何因应 ？From New Tang Dynasty 东旭 ，for Madam Vice President Bear and Foreign Minister Wu, the EU is formulating its own Indo-Pacific strategy, and NATO has passed its new strategic concept, which identifies on the systemic challenge that China has posed. The US and Europe, while under the pressure of energy, inflation, and internal political crisis, continue to support Ukraine against invasion. However, some analysts are worried that the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, could seize this opportunity to foster division across US and European countries and among EU member states. In addition, recently have been voices within the diplomatic community in the West that favor China and wishes to further cooperate with China. My question for Madam Vice President, under which pressures, how should the European Union maintain its unity and policy direction? Question for Foreign Minister Joseph Wu. China's divisive tactics aim to influence U.S. and European policies on Taiwan. So how do you think that Taiwan should respond? Thank you. A lot of questions.
Thank you very much. The first is that it's clear for us in Europe that Europe doesn't need a Chinese speaking points list to speak with Taiwan. We have good relationships already. We want to develop them further. And this is to be strong on both sides as democracies and for the values we share all together. And so I see only that the war in Ukraine made that Europe, the European member states, and also our partners in NATO are united as they were never before. Yes, there was a certain naivety before the war in Ukraine, but this is over. Everybody is aware that obviously other countries, authoritarian regimes, do not respect the international rule of law. That they are working against it, against the peace and against stability around the globe. And so I think it's really important that European member states, that European Union and our Western alliance are really united and stand for these values and protect peace, freedom and stability. And for this reason we are here. For this reason, we show this signal, and I think that it's also a sort of deterrence to make clear that we will stand shoulder by shoulder in this question, because we are value-based, and this makes a difference. We have here in Taiwan a clear and vibrant democracy, and the people in Taiwan are standing for their system. As we see it also in Ukraine, where the Ukrainian people are fighting for their freedom, for their sovereignty, and for their way of life. And so I think the most important takeaway from my visit here is that we have friends, that we have a common understanding that the citizens matter, that politics serves citizens and that the citizens decide about their future and politics try to give them the best framework possible so that they have the different options to decide about their own future.
Excellent, so inspiring. Thank you so much, and we definitely translated. 嘉豪 ，Thank you.
我们在欧洲都非常的清楚，我们跟台湾有对话的必要，我们跟台湾有非常良好的关系，也有很好的发展，因为我们有共享的价值，我们有民主。同时，我们看到在乌克兰呢，其实乌克兰的事件发生之后，很多的欧盟的成员国以及我们跟北约的伙伴呢，其实都是空前的团结。的确，在乌俄战争爆发之前，我们有一些旗舰，但是这些旗舰目前我们都过去了。现在我们都认识到，独裁的国家他们并不会去尊重国际的法治，他们只会破坏全球的和平跟稳定。因此，最重要的是，我们欧盟的成员国整个欧盟本身，还有我们的伙伴，还有我们的盟友们，必须团结起来，来捍卫我们的价值，我们捍卫我们的和平、自由以及稳定。这就是为什么我们这一次在这个时间点访问台湾，就是要发出这样子的讯号，并且能够去遏阻许多外界的压力，因为我们跟台湾之间有共享的价值，因此呢，我们其实是团结在一起的。再加上台湾其实有着非常繁荣的民主，台湾的人民也都非常捍卫着自己的政治体系。同时，我们也在看到乌克兰的人民也是积极的在捍卫自己的主权、自由还有生活的方式。所以这次访问台湾最大的收获就是我们认识到我们在台湾有很多朋友。那人民都非常的重要，人民才能决定自己的未来，而政治就是要去服务这些人民，给这些人民相应的工具，能够实现自己所决定的未来。